And we're live! Yay!
Hey!
All right. I kind of miss the whole the thing where we have the quiet time and the music's playing and everything's dark. I miss that from the old live streams from the Instagram channel, but this is so cool. Not gonna lie. I enjoy being able to multi-stream at the same time.
It has been so long since I've done this.
Yes. Yeah. When were you last on live with me? A long time ago.
Yeah, like in the summer.
Like in the summer. I was gonna say, I don't even think it was since school started. So
no, definitely not.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm glad you're here. For anybody who doesn't know Sam, this is Sam. Oh wait, this is Sam. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm backwards. Not whoever's over here. There's nobody there. So hey guys, Sam and I are here to talk to you tonight about just a whole bunch of stuff. So many people, Sam, I don't know if I've told you this yet, but so many people have been asking about you because you did come to the clinics and you were in the videos of our clinics and of course like the Halloween guard and all that sort of stuff. And then you haven't been in the vlog since then. So why don't you give everybody an update about what kind of amazing things your life has been up to lately?
So I'm sure most of you guys know I work at a gym. I'm a gymnastics coach. And this year I actually decided to become a gymnastics judge because one, it pays great money. And two, it gets me a little bit more involved. And I'm taking kids to meets and also it pays great money.
That always helps, right?
Yeah. And like, my 4-5 test really wasn't hard to pass. It was just memorizing a bunch of stuff. So it was easy. I was like, why not do it? And so the gym I'm at is still chugging along. We're doing great. This March actually makes 11 years we've been open. I have not been there 11 years. This coming year makes 3 years I'll be there. But we have it's hard times and we've had a lot of people out because of reasons. And we've had a lot of people quit because they don't want to be out because of reasons. So it's I have been working a lot. I am there 6 to 7 days a week most days. And that extra day a week that I'm not there, I'm usually at a meet or something with my kids. So I have been doing a lot of that. And I decided to drop Spintronix this year because I'm doing a lot of that. And that's important to me because I love what I do. And also I need a job. And I have just been struggling. I struggle a lot with taking a lot of things, like taking on more than I can handle and then being really overwhelmed and then suffering because of it.
True.
And I just kind of felt myself on a really steady decline and I didn't want to get sucked into that bottomless pit that I know was really hard to climb out of. And so I had to take a step back and quit some things. And Spintronix happened to be one of those things, but it's okay. I'm doing better now. And it's nice having one less thing to do. And we can talk more about Virtual Guard later, but Virtual Guard is kind of giving me my one last hurrah because this was supposed to be my age out. So I'm really sad about not getting to do it. But yeah, so it's been a lot and I'm really happy to be here and I'm really happy to share everything with you guys. And yeah, ask me questions, drop them in the chat. Jackie asked me questions. We have so much to talk about. We have so much to catch up on.
We have I love your hair, Sam. We have
thank you.
Sam, I love your hair. Like everyone's noticing your hair. You are rocking it too, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like the thing is, like I was so sad and you were like, Jackie, I think I'm gonna have to quit. And it was like, but honestly, like the way that you approached this, I almost said the way that Sam approached this, as if I was talking to just the audience and not you, because I'm like so used to talking to everybody by myself. The way that you approached this was like done so well. Like you really thought through it. You kind of went through all of your different options that you had. And basically like presenting the idea of quitting to me was like your last resort choice that you had. And then, you presented it as like, hey, look, like it wasn't just, you know, a member coming crying and being like, oh, my life's too hard and I need to quit color guard, because that happens all the time. And usually those people end up really, really regretting. They get out of it and they're like, oh, I don't know why I quit. It really wasn't so bad now that I'm looking back at it. And like, and it was basically just because they didn't think through every single option, every single way they could make it work. And I feel like you really did that. So I honestly, I love you and I can't complain. I am going to complain because I miss you so much, but
I know I miss you guys too. But I mean, like, this is the second time I've done this now. The first time I quit was also for an equally valid reason, and I did come to you as a last resort.
This is true. This is true. You did it the same way the first time.
Yeah, but yeah, I do feel like, despite the fact that I miss you guys and I miss Spintronix and I miss the show, I did make the right decision for myself, even though it wasn't an easy one because, like I said, my mental health was just in the toilet, and I'm getting better. I definitely didn't go as deep down that hole as I could have been. And I feel much better now. I'm getting there, and it's great. So it was a good decision for me, and I just hope people out there, if you're wondering about making the same decision, maybe this is something that can help you, because it is okay to prioritize yourself. Like, as much as I feel that I had a duty to Spintronix and to myself to finish my age out year, you also need to take care of yourself, because you are stuck with this and whatever is happening here for the rest of your life, whereas Color Guard is not for the rest of your life as much as you want it to be. Not in that aspect, at least.
Right. You know, and that's something that you have to like make a decision about. And a lot of people that, you know, they say, oh, well, I regret, like for myself, I broke my shoulder my senior year, and I couldn't march my age out, and I was really sad. Like, everybody who's seen any of my stuff, like, and knows my story, whatever. And I always talk about how much I regret it. Like, oh, I regretted it so much. I regret it so much. But like, that was my choice to regret that. Like, I held on to that for too long. And it wasn't until like, I had this idea that going back and doing like a DCI reunion would like make me like, it would like gives me closure or whatever. Closure's not real though. It's not real. And like it's all in your head. You have to decide, okay, I made it through this. I'm moving on. And honestly, if I hadn't broken my shoulder, and if I hadn't like not marched my age out, like the summer that I would have marched my age out, I actually spent planning Spintronix. So Spintronix might not even exist if I had actually gotten to march my entire age out and go through all that. So you made the right decision. I'm absolutely not mad about it. Like I said, I do miss you very much, but I think it was a very good way to go. And it was just, you know, sometimes it just comes that time. We're getting a lot of comments about this in the comment section. So George says, we support you. You're strong. Hi, George. Paige says she struggles with the same thing, like that balance.
That work-life balance and like Color Guard life balance.
Yeah. Well, and like Color Guard adds such another layer to it. And a lot of times people, especially people who are like previous generations, don't understand that because they never had another thing in addition to, okay, I have like my work life and I have my personal life. They didn't have like also a performance life, you know?
Yeah. And it's like another part-time job. It really is, between the 6 hours, both like the 6 hours, round trip I would drive to and from every weekend, and then spending time there. And even though like, yeah, I would have my Sunday free, like I would still be exhausted from doing things. And so that's just a whole other day. And then by the time I start to feel good, I would get to like Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday, and I'd be like, I'm feeling good now. Like I finally feel ready to take on the week. And then Friday would come and it's like, now I have to do it all over again. Yeah. And I'm just stuck plummeting and I just never get enough time to recuperate. So,
and the crazy thing to me is there are independent guards out there that do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I'm just like, how
that was
do you
rough
do
the last
that?
couple of years.
I don't understand. Last year we did it and but we only did it on contest weekends. So I feel like we did pretty good, but honestly, how there are guards that's their normal schedule and it's crazy. Tim Brulman, I'm happy to see you, Sam. Thankfully you're doing well and doing something you love as much as guard. We do miss seeing you. We understand and stand behind you.
Aww. I'm so happy to hear from you guys. I miss doing this and I miss you guys. And I feel like I just disappeared out of nowhere. And I also took like a big social media break. So I just like haven't been on Instagram or anything either. So I just disappeared and everybody was like, what happened? That's just what I do, unfortunately.
Honestly, I mean, when you need a break, you just have to take it. You can't, and you don't owe anybody an explanation. And I think that's something that people don't really understand. Like I see a lot of times, especially guard accounts that I really like to follow, where they'll put up a post and they'll be like, hey, I I know I haven't posted in a really long time, but here's a post. And it's like, girl, I'm sorry. I didn't even see that you hadn't posted in a long time. Like, I just assume that you're taking time for yourself. If you're not posting, that's okay. You don't have to have excuses. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. Just do it. Just take your time.
Yeah, for sure. That's how I feel. Like, you don't owe anybody anything. So, yeah.
Paige here says, I work a full-time internship. I'm a college student. I'm in Taekwondo. I play trombone and English horn national level band, and then guard. It's so crazy. Holy heck, girl.
That is so much. Like, I feel overwhelmed with what I do at work. And yeah, that's a lot. Like, that takes me back to high school, and high school was not a fun time. High school was rough, and I did all that and more.
We had like sob blocks, I remember, at Spintronix. Like, everyone would just show up and like cry before practice started.
You remember that one? Like, I don't know why I remember this, but I remember I just like was like an hour and a half into practice, and I just broke down and I bawled, and Anna came in to check on me, and I couldn't even talk because I was like hiccuping so hard. And the next morning I got up and we were supposed to go to a contest, and my eyes were just so swollen. You remember that? My eyes were swollen and like it was horrible. No, that would have been Show Me 2019.
Really? I was thinking it was like 2015 or 2016, like early on.
No, I mean, let's be real, during Spectrum, I did cry every Friday night, but like not that bad. It was usually just like cry right before I went to bed. That was my senior year.
Have a nice little cleansing cry your senior year.
Yeah, that was my senior year of high school. And so if that tells you anything, high school was rough. Not a fan. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Okay, I was going to say, what do you think about how much high schoolers do? Like, how much responsibility is put on their shoulders?
I think it is absolutely ridiculous. I think about what I did as a high schooler, and I, for instance, like my sophomore year, I did National Honor Society. I was the drum major in my band. I don't think I did Winter Guard that year, but every year after that I did Winter Guard, because that would have been Bunheads, and I didn't do Bunheads. And then I was like art club. One year I was like president of art club. I was president of student council at one point. That
was when I started teaching at the school.
Yeah. And I did band. I did drama club. I was the lead in the play my senior year. I did FFA, and I was the president of my chapter my senior year. I did Girl Scouts. And I like mentored another troop while I was in Girl Scouts. I did everything. And like, those things were really good for me because it kept me from sitting at home alone and being sad. But then I was just with other people and sad. And I had a lot of responsibilities that I was too sad to take care of. And so I think so many things are pushed on high schoolers like, hey, do this. It'll make you look good on college applications because you have to go to college.
Natology says, I feel like crying once a week is still pretty bad. But you see why. Sam was crying once a week.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. And in like our small town, there's just not the access to mental health resources that I got in college. Like, college wasn't really for me. I ended up dropping out, and I'm going to go finish my degree because I'm so close, just like not right now in the middle of everything that's happening in the world, because I don't do online classes well. I'm not good at those. But I'm going to go finish it. But like, college really wasn't for me. It was good. I got out. I managed to get to a therapist. I got help I needed from my doctors. My doctors at Student Health were incredible. They did so many good things for me. But there's just so much pressure on high schoolers to do all of these things. And I just do sports, get good grades, take dual credit, take AP, do extracurriculars, volunteer, get a job. Like, there's so many things that's absolutely ridiculous. And high schoolers don't get the mental health support that they need because your body is changing and your hormones are changing and you're angry and you're sad and you don't know why you're feeling the way that you do, and your peers are cruel. High schoolers are cruel, like, in general. Like, I can think of things I did and I'm like, ooh, that was mean. I wasn't a good person. And I have worked really hard on myself to fix that. But there's just so many things, like that intersectionality of who you are as a high schooler is so difficult, and you aren't given the resources to deal with that, especially in small towns like Mountain View, And that is one of the reasons why Color Guard was so, so good for me, because it gave me an outlet to be who I was. And also, if I needed to just go sit down and cry for a little while, that was fine. They were like, go cry it out. Come back when you feel better.
We were like, yeah, just do what you
gotta do. Yeah. And so that was a lot. That was a lot I just gave you guys. I'm so sorry.
We have a question here. Joe wants to know, do you still teach your high school color guard?
I do. Not in my high school, because I do not live in Mountain View, Missouri anymore. Thank goodness. Kudos to you, Jackie. I appreciate you and people who stayed or came back.
Just trying to make a difference.
That's very, very important. And I really do appreciate the people that stay and try to do good things. It's not for me. I enjoy having Wi-Fi and, cell phone signal and places to eat, because it's really hard to exist as a vegetarian in Mountain View, or any small town. But yes, I still coach at Rockbridge High School. You guys haven't seen a lot from it this year because we had to work a lot with the health department in order to get a show on the field. We did one virtual competition, and we received lots of really, really good feedback. Shout out to any of my kids if you're watching, past, present, or future. You guys are awesome. And I had some that thought I was going to be upset because they were quitting. Absolutely not. It's a rough year. I get it. I appreciate all of you, and I'm so proud of what you've done. And I did not do a winter guard this year because at the time when I had to make that decision, I was going to do Spintronix, and I was coaching, and I started out coaching one team, and now I'm coaching 3 to 4 teams at gymnastics, and also I'm judging. And I had kids that really, I just didn't have enough to compete a winter guard season. And I didn't want to have to fight for gym space, and it would be really hard to social distance everybody in the band room. And I just didn't want to attempt to jump through all of these hoops this year.
Especially since it's a virtual season, and like, you don't necessarily know that the kids are going to feel like they're going to feel accomplished getting a virtual season done, whereas like, at least with Spintronix, we've been going for so long. Like, we know what our identity and our, like, our history is. And so that's part of our history. But like, having a virtual season for us, it's a little bit more easy to promote because we're like, oh yeah, we're online all the time anyways. But like a team that's a school, I'm trying to say the word school here, a scholastic team, like, that doesn't have that background online and with virtual stuff, it's so hard to like to know what they're going to get out of it.
It really, really is. And so I just opted not to do it because I just feel like it would be better for me at this point in time, especially since I have really big plans, and plans are in the works, and I'm finally getting something I've been trying for a very long time. And as soon as I get this thing, you all will be aware over on the Rockbridge Color Guard Instagram, which I have also not touched in forever, just like my own Instagram. But yeah, I just decided it would be better for everything. And I actually talked to one of my kids just yesterday about doing Macy's band. So we're still in touch. My kids are still there. We took a season off because it was better for all of us, I think.
Honestly, it's good though. And even though taking a season off, here Swy says, you guys have been such a big help and inspiration to me and my former coach the past couple of years. I'm starting college and hoping to help as an assistant coach at my high school. Love y'all. That's great. That's awesome. I love it. If that's what you absolutely love to do, do it.
For sure, for sure. I think that's awesome. And I'm so impressed, especially with people that are making like these huge life decisions and are like moving forward during the past year, because it's been a rough year. And I'm so proud of you for doing the things that you've done. Like, it's okay if you haven't accomplished anything. Like, it's been a hard year, but if you're out there doing things, like, even more power to you. Like, I'm so impressed. I'm impressed for everybody for hanging in there.
You're going to love this one. This is from Adam. I understand where you're coming from, Sam. You're such a hard worker and you don't want to get overwhelmed. He's super proud of you. I'm
so grateful for Adam. Like, here a couple of weeks ago, he just sent me a message out of nowhere. I was like, hey, I hope you're doing okay. We miss you. And I was like, that's so sweet. Thanks for thinking of me.
I love Adam to pieces. And it's kind of, so it's really funny. I don't know if you saw, we played, what did we play? We played Among Us the other day, and we had like a big Among Us game, and there was like Spintronix people and Spinthusiasts and whatever in there. And I don't know why, but there was like multiple games in a row where Adam was the first person killed. And like the third time or something had happened, I was like, no, not Adam. But then every single time Adam would get killed after that, everyone would freak out and be like, no, not Adam. Anyone but Adam. Adam's
That's
such
funny.
a sweetheart. Joe says, get those students in the honor bands, and the Macy's band is great. Joe is actually the Spinthusiast who keeps sending me, he sent me the Macy's flags.
Yeah.
Huge Macy's band supporter. Thank you so much, Joe.
I love that. I'm trying. I keep encouraging them. I even because was the Rose Bowl supposed to happen this year? I didn't have any
Rose Bowl honor band.
I didn't have any guard kids interested, but I was after all of those wind players in my band, because honestly, the band at Rockbridge is pretty tight knit. I know most of the wind players and some of the percussionists, and I was like, let's do it. Get you in there. I'll tell you what you need to know. Let's get this audition in, because it was such a good experience for me. I want other people to do it too.
Oh, especially with Lindsay running it now. She's if anybody who knows Lindsay Vento, she's actually in our circuit. She's our education director in our MCCGA circuit. And she is honestly so awesome with doing, educational things, anything educational. She's brilliant with all that sort of stuff. And she's great with the PR stuff, and she's a great instructor. Her guards always go out and they go out to win, and they're awesome. So love Lindsay. There was one I wanted to flip back. Riley wants to know, how do you become a color guard instructor? There's a lot of ways to do this, but Sam, why don't you tell your story about how you became a color guard instructor?
So what was that year? Was it Ipanema? I believe it was Ipanema. And I was in college that year. That was my freshman year of college. And we went to championships, and that was cool. And we took first place, right? Yeah.
We were first in state.
And it was incredible. And I had a great time. And Jackie knows a lot of other color guard instructors. And and one of them came up to her and was like, Sam goes to Mizzou, right? Can you give her my phone number? And it just so happened to be Christina Thalhuber. And if you guys don't know her.
Last week. I don't know if you watched the show last week, but she was on here last week.
But yeah. That's who it is. She runs Ionic at Mizzou. And before that, she ran Majestic. And then she also takes care of Battle High School and its feeder middle schools in Columbia. She's awesome. And she contacted me. And we texted, and I came on and I teched for her for a year. And then if any of you guys know Karen Jackson, she contacted me because she needed a tech the next year. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Rockbridge is way closer than Battle. I'm here for it. And Christina had a bunch of Texans. So I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. And then Karen got a brand new job, and they were like, hey, Sam, you're taking over. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm the color guard instructor now. And that's how I ended up at Rockbridge.
There are so many stories like that where it's just sort of a situation of you knew the right people and you networked with the right people. And that's why when we do the Spinternships, it's so important to network and get to know different color guard instructors and different band directors and stuff. The Spinternships are so important because they introduce performers who are interested in teaching to other instructors. And how long were you a Spintern? You were a Spintern for a couple of years too before.
Yeah.
Before that, was it 2016? Your first Spintern?
I graduated 2016, so no, maybe. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It was one of those years. It was right after I graduated. I remember that because I was like, okay, I'll take Sam.
I was Spinterning, and then I have up until because this last year, I guess it is now, we didn't have a camp, but every year before that, I was Spinterning, and then the last year we were at CMU. Excuse me. I was a SAM administrator.
Yes, you were the SAM administrator. You were in charge of it. This is great.
And so I took care of some classes, but also I ran errands for Jackie, and I herded the kids, and I herded the coaches, and I ran paperwork, and I forged Jackie's signature on some certificates, and I printed things, and I led some yoga, and I did all kinds of stuff. So I don't. And then
remember how we were talking before about how Sam tends to take on too many things.
Oh, and then I also drove a child all the way back to Columbia to go to the hospital to get stitches.
Yes.
And then Hawken dubbed me Sam Administrator, and that is forever my title, and I will forever be addressed as such. So that's all I'm accepting.
Perfect. Paige is talking back about the Macy's parade. Sounds amazing to march in. She played in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Macy's, yeah. So Sam, you did both though, right? You did.
Yeah, I did.
I did parade.
I did Macy's 2016, and then no, I did it 2015, I guess, because then there was like a little over a year between that, and then I did the Rose Bowl in 2017, so the last time it happened. And it was great. Macy's was great because it was like a low stress. I don't want to say low effort, but like you showed up and that's when you learned the choreo, and the parade was really easy because it was just like, it's just normal parade stuff. Like we do some rowboats, and we do some drop spins, and we do some carves, and like we wave, we do lots of waving to everybody in the tall buildings, and it's so much fun. And we get to have a lot of experiences in New York City. And then the Rose Bowl was very much like, you're the best, and you're here because you're the best, and you need to prove it over and over and over again on the daily. So, and then we had to learn a ton of choreo before we went, and then we had to perform so many times, and then it was just so much to do. So they're vastly different, but they're both incredible.
Absolutely. Elizabeth says, I was only in color guard for 1 year. I fell in love. To be honest, I tried to quit because high schoolers really are mean, but I ended up staying.
Yeah, you just, like, I get it. High schoolers are mean. Like, I was a mean high schooler at times. And it's hard. Everybody's going through different things, and the only thing you can do, especially if you're in high school right now and you're like living through whatever the heck this is, that is happening in our world right now, the only thing you can do is be kind. Like, really, be kind, because somebody needs it. Even if it's you, be kind to yourself. That's the most important thing.
For sure. And honestly, like, you probably, if you're feeling like you made the right choice, you probably made the right choice. You know, if you're enjoying yourself in color guard and you like it. Oh, here, this one is interesting. She said, it's Elizabeth still. She said the season, they had 4 different coaches.
So like four staff members, or like 4 different people took over. I'm going to assume 4 staff members, because that makes more sense in the color guard world. Yeah, different coaches do different things, and sometimes they don't always communicate with each other, and then you're stuck with the he said, she said, and this coach wants you to do this, but this coach wants you to do this, and that's a lot, and it happens. Yeah, been there. That's the only time I've ever yelled at Jackie before, is when that happened and coaches weren't communicating.
That is, I remember this very well, because I was like, Sam is yelling at me, and it was because like Anna and I were like not, like, well, we were not communicating.
It was that part in Spectrum when everybody that wasn't like one of the 6 rifles was feeding up the sides to go into the back to change our colors. And you kept telling me to turn over my right shoulder. And I was like, I am. And then Anna was yelling. She's like, no, the other shoulder. And I turned over and you were like, Sam, that's the wrong shoulder. And I was like, I already turned over both shoulders. And I got really upset and I had to leave for a little while.
And I think that's something of like the instructors just having that like awareness of like everything that's going on, and the fact that everybody is telling different things and everybody might have some different technique, and I think we really need to make sure that we're like, here, oh, this is perfect tips for giving students confidence while coaching. Do not disagree with your other staff members. Have a plan beforehand and make sure all the staff is like on the same page, because if one staff member tells them one thing, then another staff member can reinforce that. The students are going to feel way more confident. They're going to be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. But if one staff member says one thing and the other staff member says another thing, they're going to be like, well, who the heck do I trust? Do I turn over my left shoulder or do I turn over my other left shoulder?
This is something I actually just had to take another, like, how to coach gymnast courses so I can take kids to a meet this weekend. And in it talked about like how to give good feedback and like correct coaching. And they talked about giving a compliment sandwich. And this is something I do with my kids a lot, is say, like, if you're talking about like, oh, doing a turn under a toss, say like, hey, I really loved how high your toss was. and then you say something that they need to fix, like, you need to turn faster under that toss, and then say something else really good, like, I like how you pulled your arms into your body, or whatever. So then you make a compliment sandwich, so it gives you like some constructive criticism, like, hey, you did this really well, here's your thing, and then this is another thing you did really well. Another thing you have to remember is also, if you're going to criticize a kid, you have to tell them how to fix it, because 9 times out of 10, they have no idea that they're doing anything wrong, and if they do, they have no clue how to fix it. So, and that's actually first compliment I ever got was from, like, as a tech, was like, hey, you're a really good tech because you tell kids how they're wrong and how to fix this thing. Like, oh, your toss isn't high enough, and it's because you're releasing here and not here. So just things like that.
That's actually something too. Like whenever we're like doing technique or teching or whatever, I'll like, if I have a vet, especially if I'll take my vet and I'll be like, hey, do you know what you did wrong? And then if they say yes, they know, I'll just move on. If they say no, I don't, then I'll go ahead and give them the correction and explain it to them. But like with the rookies, pretty much I'll just explain it. I'll be like, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. And then if the rookies are like, oh, I still don't understand, then I can, show and go into more depth. The cool thing is, I don't know if you remember doing this because it's been a minute, but that's something we actually have done at Spintronix in the past too. And I'll let the compliment sandwich deal, I'll have students watch each other perform and then tell them, okay, you're watching this person, make sure you have to have a compliment sandwich ready for this person, put it together, and then after they're done with their performance of whatever it is that they're doing, they're showing up their warm-ups or showing their show or whatever, they would do a partner run through or something, and then they have to give a compliment sandwich. So yeah, that's awesome to get your students to do that for each other too.
Yeah, that's actually something that transfers everywhere. I do that with my gymnasts. So if they run and they do their vault and they're supposed to hit the board with 2 feet and they hit it with 1, I'll be like, do you know what you did wrong? And if they do the same thing over and over again, after I tell them 3 or 4 times, then they get the idea and they're like, oh, I did this wrong. Well, do you know how to fix it? Yes, do this. I jumped from further away or whatever. And it's awesome. And I've done criticize your friend, give them a compliment, give them some constructive criticism. And it works wonders. It's incredible. And I'm doing this with like 7 and 8 year olds. Like we're used to doing it with like teenagers and young adults, but like I'm doing it with 7 and 8 year olds. So it works at all ages and it's incredible.
Alex says that he's a coach and he's gone in and been a guest teacher at many programs, and he always asks students, how do you do this, or what do you is your technique, that way he doesn't contradict the director. This is something I had to learn really early on, because when I first started, coming from a small town, small school, and then of course I went to drum corps and like learned all the stuff that I did that I called wrong or did wrong at drum corps, they would correct me. Well, the thing is, like, they weren't in my head, they were correcting me from like the way that my school taught it to the right way. In reality, they were correcting me from the way that my school taught it to the way that they taught it. And then what I really needed to understand was that each program has their own different way of teaching it. And so as long as it's not like something that's going to hurt the kids, like teaching them to catch a flag on their forehead is probably going to be a painful technique to learn. But, as long as it's not something that's hurting them, like having them teach a different way to do things is actually good. The variety is good for us. It's good for color guard.
Yeah, for sure.
Natology. I love your name. It's crazy. It says, thank you for emphasizing the compliment sandwiches. My coach does that for me, and I do that for my friends in color guard. When we watch each other perform, it works well. It really does. It really does. So, okay, this one, where is JR? Joe says, where is JR? Haven't seen him in any vlogs. Similar situation with JR is what's going on with Sam. Also, it's his age out year too. So it just kind of stinks that it just happened to be like this year that all this sort of stuff happened. And like the coronavirus happened and everything, like this could have happened to anybody. If it happened last year, it would have been a different story. If it would happen the year before, it would have been a different story. Totally different thing. JR is still involved though, and you'll see what he's up to, because his stuff is pretty intense with what we're doing here. So don't worry too much about JR. JR is going to be in the virtual guard, which Sam is also part of. So, like, how excited are you about virtual guard?
I am so excited. It's awesome because it's something that I can kind of just do on my own time. I don't have to commit a ton of time. Like, for instance, these days my gym is hosting, because CPS, Columbia Public Schools, is currently all virtual. And so we actually have like 8 to 10 students a day that come and they sit on their iPads and they do school, and I go around and I help them with their homework or get into their classes or finish their assignments or whatever. And so they go 8 to 3. And so I have from 3 to 4 before I work to just hang out in the gym and do nothing, because I don't want to drive all the way home for 45 minutes and then come back. So it's great. I can just work on my choreo during that time, and I can be in the gym and I can be inside and I can just do it whenever I want to. Like, it's not a 3.5 hour drive one way, and then I have to stay there. And yeah, so it's really, really nice to be able to just do things on my own time and still participate in guard, because I miss it. Like, as much as I know I made the right decision quitting this year, I miss it so bad. every time Sydney comes back and she tells me about it, I'm like, I want to be there.
I just want to take part in all of this. That's so awesome. Yeah. So like the virtual guard has been really helpful for a lot of people. So like you're doing it, JR is doing it. And just, there are a lot of Spinthusiasts. Paige here. Paige is so excited. And just so many people like that wouldn't normally have the opportunity to do Winter Guard, or maybe they've been watching Spintronix for so many years and they're like, oh my gosh, Spintronix has been going on for so long and I want to be a part of that. Like, they're going to be a part of our team. Like, this is Spintronix history right now that's being made. And signups are still open. So anybody who's interested in registering, you have until the end of the month to register for the virtual guard. And choreography is supposed to be up by this weekend. This weekend is the deadline.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Cool. Mine's already up, so I don't get too excited, but I can't wait to see everybody else's.
I'm ready, because I'm going to dance on a sprung floor, like a super sprung floor. So I am not afraid to throw myself on the ground. Please let me.
There is a ground roll, so you're going to be great. Yes. Adam says he can't wait for virtual guard. It's going to be a good time. Yay. Paige is envious of you getting to be inside. Yeah, a lot of people have said they don't have inside space to do their virtual guard stuff. So, I mean, but having some outside space is better than nothing, because I don't know everybody who knows right now what's going on in Puerto Rico and some of the other like outlying islands and such. It's been really, really hard for them because they're not allowed to go outside of their houses. Like, oh, that's a whole other topic for a whole other video to talk about. But
anyway, there's plenty of room left on the dance line. You can do that in your living room.
This is true. You could definitely sign up for dance line. And how do you think of my dance choreography? Have you gotten to look at it yet?
Absolutely not. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No hard feelings. It's cool.
Since I found out I get to judge my first meet, I have been studying like crazy, and I've been doing stuff for work. So, because I'm like overhauling all of the plans, and I'm making new lesson plans, and I'm reorganizing how our classes are structured. And I basically went from being like a rec coach, like a recreational class coach, to like I halfway run the place.
You're talking like the advanced classes. You were just telling me before the live started that you're having to like revamp the advanced classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we had advanced classes before we had our shutdown with the stay-at-home orders we had, and then after we opened up, we didn't have enough advanced kids that came back because a lot of them went to team, and the ones that didn't come back. And so anybody that came back went to intermediate, and we have enough kids finally that I need to open up a new advanced class. So I have sheets upon sheets of kids and their skills over here that I need to go through and decide who has the correct skills to be able to go to advanced classes, and when can I teach advanced classes, and when are my other classes going to happen. And so
it's a lot of scheduling. See, this is the kind of thing too that people don't like think about when they're like, oh, I want to start my own guard, or I want to start being an instructor or whatever. It's like, you don't just get up in front of people and teach. It's the same sort of thing with being a teacher, like in the classroom, people who want to be a classroom teacher, like it's not just, getting up and teaching. You're doing the lesson plans. You are doing a lot of scheduling. You're doing a lot of moving stuff around. Like it's mayhem. There's a lot of stuff going on.
So very much. And I don't even have final say so on any of this. Like I have to run it by my boss, who is the owner. And if her and our front desk manager don't agree on it, then I have to rework it again so that they can agree on it. And it's so much.
Yep, it is a lot. It is a lot. Well, I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't been getting a lot of questions in about Virtual Guard, because so many people have been DMing me about Virtual Guard, which is totally fine. Keep DMing me about the Virtual Guard. That is absolutely perfectly fine with me. Yeah, there is a lot that goes into teaching. Adam knows. Adam is, yeah. Oh my gosh, Paige taught a guard of 2nd through 6th graders.
Whew. I teach like 2nd graders gymnastics, and I struggle. I could not imagine putting something that they could hit somebody with in their hands. Like it's one thing to be like, okay, stand on the balance beam and walk across it. It's another thing to be like, hold this and do drop spins.
I will say, I've been teaching the middle school guard at Liberty, and we had to cancel practice today because of the snow. It was terrible. I was so sad. But
oh yeah, Mom sent me a picture of the snow.
cross fingers that this doesn't happen now because I'm telling you about it. We haven't had anybody hit each other yet. So we did have one person hit herself in the nose, but she hit herself.
Valid. I keep having kids fall off the balance beam and just so many things. Little kids are so prone to being hurt. And I'm like, if you're not bleeding and nothing is sticking out the wrong direction, you're probably okay. Like, go get a drink. You're going to be okay. I promise.
Yeah. Truth. There's just, yeah. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Well, sometimes you get like the drama queens who really want to like suss it up. And you're just like, okay, honey, like, you like the very tip of the pole just barely grazed your shoulder and it like landed way over there. So I know you're not actually injured. Get up off of the ground and let's put yourself back together.
Yep. We all have a few like that.
Mm-hmm.
We all do.
It was me when I was in guard. I'm just saying. I was the whiner.
I was the one who you'd have to pry the equipment out of my cold, dead hands because I would do it until I was too injured to move. And Justin did, in fact, have to pry the equipment out of my cold, injured hands more than once.
You remember Audrey, right? From 2016?
Oh, yeah.
She broke her thumb.
In the middle of a show and finished it.
In the middle of a show, finished the show, no problem. Like, what?
Even helped us like pick up equipment and stuff before her mom like drug her out. And we were like, girl, leave. We've got it.
Whoa, that's the culture we need to work on in color guard land. Like, I understand like pushing through it if you get like a minor injury or something, but like
I get it. If you have like a little muscle tear, like maybe don't push your splits all the way without like a solid warm up. But if you break something like we can talk about this later for sure. This is a whole live stream in and of itself, but like take care of yourself. Like granted, I also got faulty advice from a doctor when I was younger, but I am 22 years old and fall on occasion because my knee just will not support my body weight and gives out. And that is something that doing color guard on in a concrete floor for several years did not help by any means. Like, don't do this. Protect your bodies. You don't want to be 22 years old and not be able to do things. Like,
Iris, this is at you. Wear your freaking knee pads during dance class.
Your knees are so fragile, especially people that are assigned female at birth. It's actually like an evolutionary trait because our pelvises are just wider because they have a wider outlet for babies. And so because of that, it's here, and our legs come in and they tilt in at this angle, which means all of that pressure is on our kneecaps. So people who are assigned female at birth have weak knees because of the way that your bones are structured. And if you do not take care of them, you are definitely going to get injured. Like, do not push yourself. let your body rest. This is something I get so upset about, especially because I have like gymnasts that try to push through it. And I'm like, no, stop. I had one gymnast at her first meet on the first event, hurt her ankle and did not tell me about it until the next practice. And I was like, no, I would have sent you home right then and there if I had known it was so bad. Yeah. Like, you got to take care of your bodies. It stresses me out.
I think this whole idea that you have to stop performing when you're 20, 21, 22 years old, right in there, like it kind of gives a sense of urgency to these young kids. And then they're like, I have to perform, and I have to perform all the seasons that I have right now. And I have to get through all of them. And it doesn't matter that I'm injured. And it's like, you really need to understand that life goes on after you're that age, and you're going to have to do something. And you don't want to be somebody who has an old injury and you're just like, oh, I have to hobble around on a bad knee, or I have to hobble around with a bad shoulder or something because I had this injury when I was young and I didn't take care of it, and it stayed with me for my whole life.
And you're like, I mean, it's going to be fine. I won't do anything after this. But like, what if you're still teaching? What if you find a world-class guard and you still want to perform? What if you want to go for runs with your dogs, or you get really into some kind of weight training or something? What if you have kids and you want to be able to play sports with them? Like, you're not going to be able to do those things because your body is injured. There are things beyond color guard, I promise. And like, it's hard for me to spot kids between a certain height because I have to squat, and my knee just can't do it. And so I either have to sit, which means I can't spot them as effectively, or they just don't get spotted on those skills that they want and need. And so you've got to take care of yourself.
Oh, well, I think that's about it for tonight. Yeah. Everything, Sam. I am so glad that you got to come on and talk. And
me too.
I miss you so much. I love seeing your smiling face.
I miss you too.
And you know, you guys, if you are interested in the virtual guard, like I said, DM me, comment on the video, whatever. We'll get back to you. And like I said, it's sign up. Registration is open on our website, spintronixguard.org/events. Sam will be doing live stream. Ooh, what are you going to focus on in the stretch this week on Sunday?
This week, we're going to keep doing splits. I'm going to give you some different options for splits. Last week, I did a lot of really intense active stretches. This week is going to be a little more static stretching. So make sure you come really warmed up with your body, and it's going to be great. And then the week after that, we'll probably get into some back and shoulder flexibility. So this coming week, this Sunday is splits. Come with your body warm. We'll do lots of things. I'll give you lots of options. So hopefully something is accessible for you. But also, if you just want to check in with me, send me a DM on Instagram or something. That's literally the only social media I ever check. So,
and Sam's Instagram, I can put it in the comment section too, real quick.
Yeah. So yeah, just, you can come talk to me. I'll do my best to reply. I'm gonna go to bed soon because I also have to work tomorrow, and I have to make things, and I have to study tonight. But I will definitely reply to you at some point. And you guys are wonderful. I'm so happy to be here, and it makes me really happy that you guys missed me and were wondering about me. Like, that makes me feel really good inside. So thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will see you. We'll see Sam on Sunday, and guys, we're going to have another vlog posted up on Thursday, and it's just going to be, we're just going to keep on trucking, and we'll make it through all this. So thanks for coming and watching the live. And if you're watching this on the replay, thanks for watching on the replay, because we appreciate that too. That helps us out. All right. We'll see you.
Bye, guys.